What's up, everyone? This is Greg with Sports Rehab Expert. Today we're going to be talking about 5 shoulder exercises that you can be doing to help improve your rotator cuff pain. These are 5 exercises that are often forgotten about. Everybody loves to do shoulder external rotation at the side or shoulder external rotation. The focus of most rotator cuff exercise programs is all about rotation. We often neglect elevation and abduction, being able to reach the arm out to the side. This is your supraspinatus performing the majority of that activity. There's some other muscles in there, such as your delt, bicep, trap. There's other involvement to that motion, but your supraspinatus is the forgotten about trained exercise for the rotator cuff, and you have to do it through elevation if you're going to train and rebuild its shoulder capacity and ultimately help your shoulder pain out, rotator cuff issues out. If you're experiencing any sort of shoulder pain in the front side, top side, you have to train the supraspinatus. That's what we're covering again today. 5 exercises that emphasize the supraspinatus. First up is a simple full can exercise. So your thumb is going to be up and you're going to raise the arm out wide to the side. We only need to get the arm up to 90 degrees. You do not need to go above 90 degrees. There's just something about a band and the accumulation of tension that you're going to feel as you raise the arm up that just feels more natural. It feels like you get a better activation pattern. It feels like there's less clicking and popping, that most people enjoy a band for this exercise over top of a weight. Now, big key here, this goes for the majority of these exercises actually. Big key here is we don't want to see a shrug sign, meaning we don't want to see your shoulder shrug up to the ear when you're raising your arm out wide. We also really don't want to see just a little bit of elevation. A lot of people will use their upper trap to accomplish shoulder elevation. We want to see that shoulder stays relaxed, your collarbones stay level. I don't need you to depress your shoulder blade aggressively down. That's going to kick on your lat. You're going to play a tug-of-war battle with that. Lats depress. We want to be elevating. So there is going to be a little bit of a raise that happens there, but I don't want to see a shrug. So collarbones level, shoulder stays relaxed. You're getting that motion purely from the shoulder. Your neck stays pretty loosey-goosey, relaxed. There will be some tension there, but it's always secondary to what you feel directly at the shoulder. Now, second up is a bit more controversial of an exercise. This is a empty can shoulder raise, where you raise your arm out to the side, thumb is pointing down towards the floor. Now, the reason why we do this is because it's been shown to activate the supraspinatus more than the full can. We're really isolating that supraspinatus muscle as much as we possibly can. Again, there's other muscles that are at play here, but we're trying to isolate it as much as we can. Now, people think this is bad because it leads to what's quote-unquote shoulder impingement. I'm not telling you to raise your arm all the way overhead like this. Now, again, that in and of itself isn't bad. You just saw me do it. It doesn't cause a problem. But I probably shouldn't repetitively do that over and over again because it does cause some compression in the subacromial space right there. So I just need you to get to like 45 degrees. You don't need to go really high here. You don't even need to get to 90 with it. So we're not threatening that subacromial space at all. We're just trying to build capacity in that supraspinatus tendon. So second exercise is the empty can raise. Again, band oftentimes feels a little bit more natural for people than using a weight here. Third exercise is what I call liftoffs. So we're going to perform the liftoff out in abduction, so out wide just like the rest of these exercises, but you need to rest the shoulder somewhere right at 90 degrees. So we want the shoulder to be completely relaxed, and then you're going to have to engage the muscles at a moment's notice. This helps with the mind-muscle connection and the timing of the rotator cuff here, right when the supraspinatus should contract the hardest. So part of the supraspinatus job is to help with the roll in inferior glide of the ball and socket as the arm elevates overhead. And so this activation pattern is going to be the highest right around that 90-degree mark. And it has to create this inward pull, downward pull of the joint to help with the arthrokinematics in the roll of the shoulder joint. And this helps with the clicking and popping that a lot of people will feel after a rotator cuff injury. Fourth exercise, we're going to spend more time in this 90-degree position. We're going to accumulate time under tension. So we're just going to do little mini circles with the arm out wide, little tiny circles, clockwise, counterclockwise. Doesn't need to be very large or big. We're just trying to accumulate time under tension around this 90-degree mark, again, to help with shoulder capacity, supraspinatus capacity, build that tendon resiliency up, as well as help out with some of the timing by making this exercise a little bit more dynamic. But again, because we're holding and performing higher reps, you're going to be doing about 20 to 30 reps clockwise, counterclockwise before resting, versus all the other exercises. We're looking at more your standard 3 sets of 10, 6 to 10 reps, somewhere around there. This one we're getting higher reps, so about 20 to 30 reps, both clockwise and counterclockwise. So you're going to use a lighter weight here, but we're staying right around that 90-degree mark. The fifth and final rotator cuff exercise is a lateral delt raise with the elbow bent at 90. So we're going to be in this position right here. A lot of people are going to think that that exercise is bad again, because that position mimics what we would do in the orthopedic world for an impingement test. But again, I'm more of an inclusive person than an exclusive person, so I'd prefer to figure out how to make that position comfortable as opposed to just avoid it completely, because inevitably you're going to find yourself in that position when you do something in your life. Especially if you live an active lifestyle, move things overhead, play sports, throw a ball, you're going to find yourself in that position. So it makes sense to be strong and resilient in that position as opposed to avoid that position completely. So I never understood that mentality just personally. So we're just going to use a smart training approach to working that position. Is a progressive loaded program. Start with a conservative weight, gradually build yourself up. Don't push yourself through pain. Quite simple process, really. And again, if you're not being overzealous with the weight, pushing yourself too quickly, you're going to be okay. Plus, if you don't see a big shoulder shrug or a big lift of the shoulder joint or a superior glide of that shoulder joint, it should feel like there's almost like a divot that's forming in your deltoid when you're doing that correctly, then you're going to get the most out of that exercise. Stop at 90. You don't need to really aggressively jam it up there. Just use the exercise, perform it as it's intended to be performed. Don't go through any substitution patterns, and progressively load the exercise in a comfortable manner. All right, so there you have it. There's 5 exercises that you should be doing for your rotator cuff, specifically the supraspinatus and shoulder abduction. It's a very important muscle to be trained. It's very important for a lifestyle to be able to raise your arm overhead and elevate your shoulder comfortably. You have to do these exercises. Don't just focus on shoulder rotation. Now, if you'd like a full shoulder rehabilitation plan or a better understanding of how to integrate these exercises on a week in, week out basis in a progressive manner that is safe, helps you avoid plateauing, then email me, greg@sportsrehabexpert.com, or click on the links down below in the description. I'm more than happy to set up a personalized program designed specifically for your needs and your injury history.